I have enjoyed playing games on my Xbox Series S for a while now. Even though I was a little bit critical of it when I first got it on a sale, I've slowly started to understand its biggest appeals and have really appreciated the value that it gives. A lot of folks seem to agree too. Despite the lack of true hitter exclusives, the value proposition was great, especially for the price you were paying for it earlier in the year. In fact, it has become basically my main primary console of choice when playing some titles. However, with the price hike that Microsoft placed just a couple months ago, coupled with Xbox's new confusing marketing and product push with their entire This is an Xbox campaign, it's become a little bit more difficult to recommend the system brand new. Also, a small edit, just as I was making this video, Xbox has yet again increased their prices, so I've updated this video with the new pricing in mind. One of the biggest pulls for someone wanting to purchase an Xbox Series S in the past was that incredible price point. You could easily find brand new Xbox Series S systems and bundles for often under that initial $300 price point, ranging mainly in the 250 even 200 range, and sometimes even lower on holidays. Especially compared to other systems like the Switch and PS5 consoles at the time, you were paying basically a third to a half less of the prices of those systems, which was incredible value given the feature set. Heck, it was even cheaper than a Switch 1 for a lot of the time, and that system has been out for way longer with significantly worse performance. Combine that with Xbox Game Pass, and you had a console that could play a lot of modern games at a good price. Now, obviously, you weren't going to get a large exclusive library that systems like Nintendo and Sony may offer, but if you just wanted to play a lot of multi platform games, this console was hard to beat in my personal opinion. However, with the recent price hikes, a brand new 1TB Xbox Series S is now the same price as a Switch 2, which offers a significantly more robust exclusive library and portability. Even the 512GB model at that $400 price point will sting, and now puts it in the realm of even more systems like PC handhelds like the Steam Deck, which, depending on the type of gamer you are, could offer a much better value proposition with access to the Steam library and customization options of SteamOS and Windows. Now, that's not to say that Xbox is the only one that got price hikes. The PS5 recently was increased to a base $500 minimum, and shockingly, the Switch 1 OLED has had another price hike that even puts it more expensive still than a current Xbox Series S at that increased price point. We also haven't really seen how deep discounts will be with this new price increase compared to the old one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the prices even on sale would still be over that initial $300 starting price at the launch of this console. There's now more competition than ever within such a small price range. Nowadays, the 350 to 450 price point. So we have to ask the question again now, who is this console for? Because in certain cases, all of these other systems for that similar $400 to $450 price point could offer way more value depending on the type of gamer you are. Really, I think the main sell for this console is for people who just want to play the super popular multiplayer titles. At a cheaper cost than a current PS5 now, games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, and even the recent beta for Battlefield 6 have all ran adequately with some good graphical fidelity, and for the most part, are games that you can't really play on systems like the Switch 2. Even if some titles are also available on Nintendo's console like Fortnite, chances are that they will be a worse experience with some downgraded graphics or lower frame rates. You also don't run into the hassle of incompatibilities with anti-cheats that the Steam Deck suffers from, where a lot of these games aren't even playable because of it. All of this combined with the ease of use of using a console user interface, you can easily bring an Xbox to a friend's house and set up a LAN party without major hassles. But outside of that, there's always the case for the Xbox Game Pass library. I've already covered Game Pass in an earlier video from a couple months ago, but the TLDW of it is that the offerings from Xbox have been extremely good this year, with hard hitters like the recent Doom, Expedition 33, even the brand new Hollow Knight Silksong have been great games that have been added to the Game Pass library and accessible to play on your console with your subscription. Now, as I was editing this part of the video, Xbox decided to drop a bombshell that they're increasing Game Pass prices out of the blue alongside the recent console price hikes. So Game Pass Ultimate for that high tier to play all of these games day one now is a 50% increase to $30 a month, which is insane to think about. So unfortunately, even with Game Pass now, it's not as cut and dry, as you do have to pay a hefty premium now a month to get all those games. A smaller thing that you can count as well is the backwards compatibility support of previous Xbox generations, where you can play some great OG Xbox and Xbox 360 games on your latest generation console. Some games like Sonic Unleashed also benefit from some extra features like better frame rates or fidelity, which is a nice plus. The backwards compatibility of the Xbox is worth talking about because a majority of the main competition doesn't support games for free natively past their previous generation. I do think overall still, going for an Xbox Series S, especially one in the used market, has still some strong points going for it. However, with the reputation Xbox has right now, combined with the lack of truly exclusive features and games going for it, a lot of folks will likely just ignore the system outright for something else similarly priced, even if it may provide a better value for their gaming experience. Especially now with that increased price point, there are just so many different options that you can go that I think it's not as cut and clear as before with that original price point. If you are someone who is planning to pick up a next gen system like a PS5 or Switch for specifically like cross-play multiplayer games, stuff like Fortnite or Minecraft, or basically any multiplayer cross-play game that's super popular right now, Call of Duty as a big example as well, I would definitely suggest looking at the Series S, because even at that increased price point brand new, it's still technically the cheapest current generation console you can get right now. And for those folks, I still think that the Series S is sufficient enough for your needs there. There's also the case for those who really enjoy Game Pass, where, as stated before, this is still the cheapest way to play Game Pass games natively on a system. However, outside of those two groups, it's kind of tricky recommending this console, especially when for $50 more, a Switch 2 or even a PS5 digital on sale can provide significant benefits over a Series S, such as exclusive titles, more power, or portability. I think you really need to fit in that niche of gamer to really get the most of the Series S, but if you are, then I think the Series S is still a fantastic console in 2025. And that's all I gotta say. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.